whatever space you're tuning in at. We are coming into you with Vibration Station Thursdays. We're always like transitioning the name, but we love Vibration Station because we get to have super powerful facilitators, speakers, entrepreneurs, mums, like all different walks of life to come on here. Every Thursday we do a little bit of a share, 15 to 30 minutes around topics that these people are experts in. And so today we have the incredible Tanya. She's going to take us on quite a bit of a journey. She is divine feminine embodiment. She does a lot of work with the womb space. She just is incredible. We haven't even met in person yet. Let's just acknowledge that for a second.
Christo, sorry, you're crackly.
I got that too.
Yeah, and on the
Is
live.
it a bit crackly? Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's
it. Yeah, it'll probably be a bit crackly. It's probably not a good time for Wi-Fi. Who knows?
Well, that's a bit better now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. It's probably not the best time for Wi-Fi.
Sorry,
but if it goes a bit crackly, then let us know because you guys are really clear as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's just acknowledge the fact that we did only just meet Tanya, and somehow in the big cosmos of things, we've landed on her newsfeed, and now we get to connect, and it's really beautiful. Tanya, I want you to take it away, Tanya, and just share your beautiful energy with the audience. And I know we'll talk a lot into feminine energy and masculine energy and the offerings that you do. And just something will definitely be landing with a lot of people. So thank you for being
Thank
here.
you for having me. Yeah.
That's all right.
So you just want to start off with a little bit.
Maybe
what do you want me to start with? You tell me.
Yeah, that's all right, babe. Maybe start because we're originally from Melbourne. A lot of people already know our backstory. For people who haven't and just joined the group or come into our space, Courtney and I moved from Melbourne Boxing Day 2020 up to the Sunshine Coast. So we did a whole pivotal shift of environment because environment is everything. Mm-hmm. So maybe start from like if you're based on the Sunshine Coast, you always lived here, and how you've come about to doing the work that you do today and why, and we can just expand from there and go from there.
Okay, great. Well, yes, I've didn't grow up on the Sunshine Coast, but I have been here for around 12 years.
Yeah.
Grew up in the South Coast of New South Wales, and you made the right move. This is like the best place ever. Like, why would you ever want to be anywhere else but the Sunshine Coast? It's just full of such beautiful energy and beautiful souls, and it blew my mind when I moved here because just before I moved here, we were living in a mining town. So I went from one extreme to another and just couldn't believe I couldn't believe that people could actually really be this nice and happy. So moving here really started me on a journey of discovering more parts of myself through knowing that I was living in that masculine energy because my husband worked away. I worked a really high-end, really well high-end paying job, but very highly stressful, and trying to manage I've got 3 beautiful boys. And, it was like this thing, and I turned 40. I'm 48. When I turned 40, I realized that there was something missing, and it just began me on this search and this hunt for what was it that was missing, because I had everything. I had like a great job. I had an amazing relationship with my husband, which I still do. We've been married for 25 years, together for 30. And I had my dream home, and I had my job and everything. I was looking outside of myself going, I should be happy, but I wasn't happy. And so what was the big part that was missing, which is what you guys are big advocates about, is that feminine embodiment that like I just was in that go mode, and I was fatigued and worn out. And so I discovered this self-love discovery and just kept following the breadcrumbs to the point where I found the womb work. I went over to Bali and studied and did a facilitators retreat over there to teach and learn more about the womb space for myself, but also to teach it. Mm-hmm. And then that same company that I was doing that through offered the womb massage to teach that. And I thought, well, that will be a lovely thing to go with what I'm really passionate about. So I started doing that. And I think what's happened is that I've come this far, and this was, when did I do that? That was 3-4 years ago.
Wow.
What I've discovered is that in that time, like my cycle, when I was that busy and everything should have been grand and happy in my life, my cycle and my bleed was horrible. It was painful. It was heavy. I was depleted. I was anemic. I had no iron. And both my mum and my grandmother had hysterectomies. So my mother kept saying to me, well, you've had your kids, just go and get it ripped out. And I'm like, I don't think there is. And I didn't know anything about the womb space back then.
Wow.
And I look back now and I go, this, you know, we talk about our ancestral lineage, and I can really see that golden thread that is gone through my ancestral lineage, like from my mother's womb, from my grandmother's womb to her womb, and so on. So that's got me to this. I'm just so passionate about supporting women not to get to my age that I was, so that doesn't happen to them, so that they don't get all the discomforts or feel like they've got to go on the pill or go and get the Mirena, or like to really know that there's more than just getting it ripped out or having some drugs or something to stop the bleed. So that's where I'm at. Yeah.
This is massive. We were legit just having a really beautiful conversation with a client this morning around the bar that women get inserted in their arm. And
the implement, it's called. Yeah. And then there's the Mirena that they get inside, they get inserted up the vagina, and it actually it stops goes onto your uterus and clamps it. Yeah.
Wow.
It was such a really good conversation. We'll probably actually release a bit of a snippet of it soon, but really good conversation around the awareness. And you would know all about this, of like when you take a step back and you look at the global scale between the men and women and contraception and all the things, like we're talking about a piece of rubber plastic on a guy, and then we're talking about body DNA transformation, physical impact, like long-term effects. Let's go there with infertility repercussions, like all these things that women have been put on, like as if, you know, we're the ones to be suppressed and we've got the problem that needs to be sorted, and it's all this stuff. And it's like, wow, when you look at the mentality and the energy around, the energetics around that, it's just like a lot.
It really is. It really is, for both men and women, though, because men have been branded that way as well.
Yes.
You know, that I'm passionate about my boys and my men to have that opposite effect. Like my 14-year-old said to me a couple of months ago, he noticed that I was not myself. Like I wasn't as my normal happy high vibe energy. And he said, Mum, you're not seeming like you. And I must have gone into thinking, oh, where am I in my cycle? And I didn't have to say anything. He goes, oh, you're coming into your winter. And this is my 14-year-old son.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Oh my God.
I know. And I just went, thank you for knowing that. I said, are you comfortable with that? Like, do you want to talk about it more? And he said, well, I just know that I'm going to be here to offer you anything else that you need. You just let me know. And it's like all of their energy slows down. And like my eldest son, he treats his girlfriend with such honor and, you know, like sovereignty, and gives her the space that she needs and not make her wrong for where she's at. And because he understands that we go like this, but they also go like this with us if we allow them and we don't suppress it and we're vocal about it.
Yeah, it is that vulnerability and that open space and that safety, like masculine energy providing stability and safety and like a container, but then the feminine energy to be just like wild and flowy and playful and expressive.
Yeah.
So that's
and they're not
just
afraid
like,
of it.
no, and to see your boys just really embodying that is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And it might be quite actually confronting or new information or like a new concept for some of the women in this group or some of the women that are on our socials, because we work with a lot of women, especially mums, who have kind of got caught up in the whole mum hats, like lost their way, don't know what what vision or mission or purpose is for them, maybe starting really brand new to find themselves again, find the self-love, because I spent like 20, 30, 10 years just in the do of looking after everyone else, even workplaces, and not even taking a second breath to just feel into how they are. And so what we're talking about in this space is like even your kids having that energy, it might be so new concept and new conversations with the household for people. How did that sort of come about for you? Because I know you do sound healing, you do Reiki, you do like trauma release, you do lots and lots of things. How have you really created such a lifestyle around this energy? Because it's so beautiful. And what can you share with the ladies who would be watching on how to go about that and how to really unlock that, because it's innate in us, and that's how I feel about it too.
Oh, it definitely is innate in us. Like it's passed on from previous to previous, and there's not been much awareness around how we can create this space for ourselves, because all we've been taught to do is the do and go all the time. So we're not even being aware of when the time is that we need to actually bring it in. We're just constantly giving from an empty cup.
Yes.
And that is on top of, and that is obviously, I guess it goes a whole lot more when you are a mum, especially a new mum, because you're giving your everything. And that is on top of if you've already had a disconnect before even becoming pregnant, not knowing like that you might have been, okay, I'm in my job, I'm working full time and I'm doing all the things that I think I've been told that's the right thing to do. I go have a baby, I have this baby, and then I'm really feeling lost right now because where am I? So there's a whole lot of stagnant energy that we actually suppress, and it gets so deeply suppressed within our lower abdomen. But if you think about somatically or from the trauma, like anytime we've had an emotional response or we've had any trauma right from our childhood right up to now, we've always gone into a flight or fight, and we've never actually been taught how to let that move through so it becomes stuck and stagnant. So what I love, and this is why I offer the massage, is because it's a whole energy physical release in creating space so we can actually start finding that inner connection, and then start looking at how can we connect into the seasons in our cycle, because we have 4 seasons in our cycle. We are not bipolar. We are not going crazy. We actually are meant to be going like this in a 28-day cycle. We are not meant to stay up there as Superwoman and, being on top of the world the whole time. Yes, there is a season for that. That's our summer. That's when we're ovulating. That's when we feel our most empowered and when we want to get out there and really create. And it's been where we know we want to be external. We want to give. We've got so much to give in that space. But then being mindful that you can't stay there. If you stay there, that's when you start fatiguing, and that's when you start creating disconnect. So coming out of your summer into your autumn, and your autumn is where you actually really allow yourself to start going into that reflection and going inwards. So if you're a mum, or for me, what I would was doing and still do is create meals that I can put in the freezer in my summer coming into the beginning of my autumn, so that I'm preparing myself to go into my winter, into my womb cave, so I can go inwards and it's easy, and I can get the boys to just go and heat that up, and I don't have to give so much, and give myself full permission to actually go within and, like really go internal, not have to be out there giving out to the world. Give all of that, what I've been giving out, back to me in that time, and use that as a reflection time. And when I'm reflecting, I'm getting that space to reflect and connect in, and it's so yummy. It becomes so addictive that you never not do it once you start. And so when you come out of your winter, then you're coming into your spring. What does spring do? Like, that's fresh rebirth. We've been able to let go of what didn't serve and then rebirth into whatever it is. We've got a whole brand new month and 4 seasons to live into again. So it's like this. It's so beautiful. I love it so much.
Oh,
I love that.
That's such a great reminder as well. And I think a lot of the business women on here watching this, it will be a great reminder too, when you actually give yourself permission to be able to do that. I do something that's kind of very similar, just even with belly dancing, for example. You know, I was talking to my teacher about this. I actually am giving myself the opportunity and more of the space to start tapping into more of that feminine energy.
Definitely.
And it can be quite frustrating. So this process might be a little bit frustrating as well for those who may be more of the masculine driven and in that kind of focus. But just know that, you know, just to meet that challenge, because that's what I do as well, is just I meet that challenge, I smile, I dance, you know, I talk it out with myself when I'm looking, you know, with that mirror work. So, you know, I think it's really good to also acknowledge that, yeah, maybe a little bit different or feel a bit weird, but at the same time, like you said, it's going to feel juicy and really good as well, because we're actually allowing ourselves to do what we want to innately do anyway.
Absolutely. And how can we really fully do that authentically if we're not giving ourselves that space? And I completely understand that it will be it is and was for me as well, very challenging to come into that. And so the easiest, nicest, softest way for anybody to do that is really just start charting. And I don't mean by those apps. I mean get out an actual diary, old school, and write down day one and write down the feelings that come up for that day, or how you how you felt emotionally that day. And it doesn't matter if you don't do it every day, but if you're, you know, at least a couple of times in that week, so that then by the time you get to, say, 2 months of doing that, you can go and reflect and go, oh, that's when I'm in my winter, and that's when I'm in my summer, and that's when and then you start organically start arranging your business world or your home life or your, you know, your active world or your social world in that flow. When you're in your summer, when you know, it organically just happens. So, and the journaling part of it is really good too. If you journal on those things that come up in those seasons, it is such a game changer. Such a game changer. But yeah, so much fun.
Yeah, I love that. So yeah, for the ladies who are like, oh, what's my first step to finding out my seasons, how I work, how I do this, how I just start connecting in with that space a little bit more. Definitely getting your diary out and, like Tanya just said, tracking how you're feeling, your emotions throughout the day and throughout the week, and then reviewing. So we always talk about plan, do, review. So plan, go and get a diary, do for 2 months, a month, and track your emotions and then review it. And then you can start to make beautiful adjustments. You'll just notice, like you said, Tanya, naturally building a beautiful connection. You'll actually be able to reflect and be like, I feel way more connected than ever, or my creativity has gone through the roof, or all of a sudden I've had these experiences be called in around me, like promotions at work, or a new friend might have come into my life, and it's just like we're soulmates, and it's like, how did this even happen? These sorts of things start to link because you're connecting in with who you truly are and listening to the body.
You're also finding out, and that is very, very true. That's exactly what happens. Your life just goes so much easier. It doesn't feel so hard. And what the biggest thing I found with these women that I've been working with over the last 2 or 3 years is that they're discovering that they're not having as much pain at that time of month, because we're not taught to be with pain either. We're taught to resist. So we actually, I hear women, and I know I used to as well, talk about our bleed like it was a pain in the ass. It was like, so it was reacting to that. We're not listening to our body. We're telling our body it's wrong for bleeding. Our natural way of being, like, it's giving us the invitation to go within and be with that. So if there's anybody that is watching and they do go through a lot of pain, or they've got a lot of discomfort around that, I really invite you to trust that the pain is your body telling you to slow down. And can you be with that pain just a little bit and send it some love energy, rather than going straight to the cupboard and getting the Nurofen out?
Oh, love it. That's such a good question. Such a beautiful, powerful question. You know, it's even fascinating to know that, I can't remember which countries it was, I think somewhere over in Europe, but a news article, like sometimes I follow things on Yahoo Finance, I find that's quite like diverse and lots of good stuff, but released that there's certain countries that have officially announced paid leave for women for their period. Yes, like
oh my, I just got goosebumps. You telling me that is amazing.
Yes. It's incredible. It is a huge
Oh,
shift in consciousness on the planet. It's a
yeah,
massive change for
Mm.
women across the globe, and just that acknowledgement, exactly what Tanya
yeah.
does and is an expert in helping clients with and unblocking and unlocking those parts, is that energy that's really filtering through from those corporations and coming down and having an awareness and an importance, because it is so important. We acknowledge summer, autumn, winter, spring as much as some companies don't want to on the planet. We still do, and that's Mother Earth, and we're a huge reflection of that. We're a part of
Oh,
her. We're within her. She
yeah.
supports us, and exactly what Tanya's saying about summer, autumn, winter, spring throughout that month. It's the same with the moon phases and the moon cycles, and so it's about that acknowledgement. It's a powerful thing to leverage on that. It's your own inner power.
It really is. And everybody's inner power is unique to themselves. It's not like anybody else's. And
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be. I used to make myself wrong for not bleeding on the full moon because I thought that that's when I would be the most powerful and get the most downloads or wicked dreams or whatever. But it doesn't matter because we actually dance to our own dance, right? Like, and so our bodies go to where it needs to go, and we need to really embrace and embody that part of ourselves and not make ourselves wrong for not being like that person that we think we should be like.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
100%. So much gold, Tanya. We honor your time so much. For the ladies who are watching, or if you're watching the replay, hashtag replay below, and ask any questions, reach out to Tanya, reach out to us with any questions. We can pass them on. For the ladies watching, or even the guys watching too, who have wives or partners or a future girlfriend coming on board, what's some beautiful words of wisdom as like a first step, or just the awareness piece or an embodiment piece around how people can embrace this so much more?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because you can get overwhelmed with so much. It's like, so how can we just take 1% of what we've just shared in just that? So, and that 1% might be different for each and every one, but I feel the easiest, best way to start connecting is just observing yourself throughout your seasons. And that is just writing that little bit down, or even if you don't feel like you've got that time or space, just start observing your thoughts. And then when you start seeing your thoughts or feeling that thought process change, go ask yourself, where are you in your cycle?
I
And
love.
and instead of just going, oh, I've got to keep going, it's just slowing it down. It takes one breath in when you feel a different thought or a thought that doesn't feel good, or you'll feel it in your solar plexus and you might go, what is that? Just ask the question, and that's all you got to do. You're not broken. You don't need fixing. You just need to observe.
You don't
Yeah.
need painkillers.
Mic drop.
And you definitely don't need painkillers. It's really allow yourself to be, even with that pain. What is your body trying to tell you?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, I love. And so, Tanya, where can people find you? Instagram? What's your Instagram handle, or Facebook, or what do you have? Email?
Yeah. I'm Soulful Living Therapies.
Yeah.
So if you can find me on that's my Insta and my Facebook business page, or just Tanya Dale, and just reach out any which way. I'm very open. I
Beautiful.
love having chats. I love have soulful conversations. But yeah, just really love this work, and I really want to bring. Like, I'm so passionate about inviting anyone and everyone to bring this in, so that our daughters that are coming through now won't even know, our granddaughters won't even know what we actually have experienced in this world, because they'll be like, it'll be so out there that we are embodying that, like you said, that one day a month where they get to get a period day or a bleed day. Like at school, imagine if school gave the girls that.
Yeah.
Like, and just so for everybody that doesn't know, like, I didn't even know when I first started looking at this, I didn't know what day one of my cycle was. It's the first day of your bleed, and it's not the spotting that some of us get. So if you spot before you bleed, that's not day one. Day one is when you're in your first full flow.
Full flow. Wow. Oh, I love. Yay.
Thank
Definitely.
you
Thank
so
you, Tanya,
much.
so much. It's been really epic
Thanks
to
for
chat
having
about
me.
it. And I know we could just expand and go into so many more things as well.
Yeah.
So go and check out Tanya, give her a follow, reach out to Tanya if you are experiencing anything that we've gone through and she's talked about. And and she'll be there to help you. And yeah, we're so excited. I'll end the live there now. Thanks so much, Tanya, for joining. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.